Hey, Pam.
Hi.
Nobody's commenting on my yard sign. I hung it up for you
Oh,
guys.
I sorry, I hadn't looked at the at the
So it
screen
was
yet.
funny when I saw that. I was
That's
like, now
cute.
I feel pressured to find like a vote background or something.
I
There's
taped
a,
that
a
to the
house.
blinds. Go ahead.
There's a house off the side of the highway out here, and you can only kind of see it as you're cresting up the hill and then going over. But they have like the biggest Biden Harris sign I've ever seen in
That's
my life.
amazing.
Nice.
And you can see it, from the highway. And I just think that that's so great that they're doing what they can to
Yeah.
get the word out.
I actually want to talk about this on the show at some point because I don't have the guts to put that up in my front yard, no matter where I am.
Oh,
I
interesting.
just I don't want people stealing it. I don't want people
Okay.
graffitiing it. I don't want people hating me because I'm just so insecure when it comes to stuff like that.
So,
Same thing with like the Biden Harris mask. Like I'm not going to wear that in public. I
mhm.
just I don't want anybody to confront me.
It's funny you mentioned that because we have some neighbors around the corner. I don't know them. They live too far away, but they still live in our neighborhood. And they are flying a Trump 2020 flag. They have been
Gross.
for
uh,
like since last year. And
yeah.
I swear to God, the only reason that they've converted their garage into like a pseudo hangout area is so that somebody can be on guard at all times because they're flying that flag,
Yeah.
on this big flagpole above the American flag, mind you. But it's like
Ugh.
if you're that worried, then maybe you should be questioning why your candidate of choice is so polarizing.
Yeah. Yeah. There are 50, 60 homes in this development, and there isn't a single political sign out in anybody's yard yet. And that struck me because when I went yard sailing a couple weeks ago in this whole area, I went into a couple neighborhoods where there were a mix of Biden and Trump signs and Trump flags, like the one that you saw. But I'm like, damn, that's really surprising that these other neighborhoods, I see Biden signs out, Trump signs, but in this one, nobody's doing it. I think like everybody's waiting for everybody else to blink first. And then whoever,
Yeah.
oh, I just got a
Yeah.
weird JLA virtual action entered the waiting room.
Who?
What?
I don't know. Let's admit them, see what happens.
Uh
That's kind of
Hello?
oh
Who
my
is this? Who is this? I guess it's
you're probably
nobody.
Why is
frightening
this
them.
making me anxious on their
I know. Who are you virtually actioning for?
Unless that was like Jewel with a different name. Oh, she's typing. I bet it was
Oh,
Andrew.
I see. Oh, that was me. My volume was off.
Sorry, Joel. I didn't know. I thought it was
Oh my
we
God.
got hacked somehow.
We got Zoom
JLA
bombed.
virtual action.
You said JLA, and the only thing I could think of was Jennifer L. Armentrout, who is an author that we sometimes feature on Hypeable.
He's coming in.
Yeah.
You guys were acting like it was a real person in a real room with us. It's all virtual. It's
Look,
okay.
I'm just a normally
can't
anxious
stab us.
person, and
Yeah. I'm
I
just
can't handle it.
you know this about me, Andrew. I too am anxious.
Yeah,
Well, when I'm on air, I'll do anything.
clearly. For the good of the show.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, Julie, you can come back in if you want. Actually, you might not. You
Jules
might not
gonna
be
be
able
I wanna
to.
come
like,
back.
I'm gonna hand in my 2 weeks notice.
Yeah, I think by removing you, I banned you from this particular meeting.
Oh my
So here, I'll,
God.
I'll just paste her the
Oh God.
Zoom, the YouTube stream.
Well, yeah, speaking of signage, like up where my parents live, the only signs that we see are Trump signs. But I will say there are far fewer of them this time around than there were 4 years ago.
bless, because I silently judge my neighbors for doubling down in 2020 with their flag.
Yeah.
But what's nice is like when I go down, like when I went to vote today, of course, I live in a blue county, so it was great seeing the amount of Biden support down there, and I was like, oh, this is very refreshing. And then we drove back up here and it was like Trump 2020. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Did you see any poll watchers?
No,
Okay.
actually, not at my polling place, but apparently there were a couple at my parents', which I'm like, this is like Red Central. I don't know what they felt like they needed to watch up here. Probably because they're pussies and they wouldn't actually go confront anyone. So
yeah. I'm looking at the Discord. Some people are talking about the signs.
Oh
Katie
my God.
said we had so many Trump flags flying this weekend. Amy said I had a Biden sign up, but it was stolen. That's a bummer. My grandparents did put a Biden sign up. They got more guts than I do.
good for them.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
they're old.
And I
They
think
don't
my
give a fuck
grandfather
anymore.
Right. Yeah. They're like 80.
Yeah.
My grandfather, I think, voted for Trump in 2016. And he's seen his ways now. And he's in Pennsylvania. It's a swing state. So that's good. Hopefully we're going to see more people like him.
Holy shit. Do you see this one? My next door neighbor got her Biden sign taken out of her yard. And she got an envelope in her mailbox that said, "Be careful what you vote for."
Oh
and all that was inside was a ripped page out of an encyclopedia on communism.
I rest my case. This is why I don't do this. Jeez.
There's someone on TikTok. I'm assuming it's a series, but I scrolled too fast and I couldn't get back. Anyway, I guess like if somebody sends this person footage of Trump supporters taking down Biden Harris signs, he'll do some research and tell them where the person lives and like who they are, so they can, I guess, confront them over getting their stuff back. But
wow.
Yeah.
Actually, one half solution. I still don't want to announce myself as a Biden supporter. I'm embarrassed to say that, but one half solution would be to just put it in the window so nobody can actually steal it. They can just
Right.
see it in the window.
they'll just bust your windows, but you could sue them for that.
True.
Yeah. I'm afraid
Just
like
be like, and I have a Tesla and I'm parking it right in front of this window. So if you do anything.
I do have an extra Ring camera I haven't set up, so I can just install it in this office while in case
I will
of
say
break-in.
in 2016 I had a Hillary sticker on my car, and I one day had a dude damn near run me off the road, and was like flipping me off and being like very aggressive and stuff. And I was just like, I didn't put two and two together at first. I was like, did I do something? And then I saw him like drive past and he had a Trump sticker on his car. And I was like, oh, that's how it's going to be. Okay.
Wow.
That's what you did. You supported Hillary.
I know.
I got to admit, I just remembered I did kind of cut somebody off the other day on the highway because they had a big ass Trump 2020 sign in the back of their car.
Well, yeah, fuck those
so I
people.
sped around them and I cut them off. Safely, of course.
The funny ones, I've seen a couple of them because early voting started here in Georgia. So, of course, people are showing their pride. And like, I've seen a couple of cars that are just decked out, like American flags flapping off every window, Trump flags flapping off the back, bumper stickers everywhere. And I'm just like, imagine that being your identity. Like, imagine having nothing else going on for you to where you feel compelled to do something like that. Like, I'm voting for Biden. And by the way, loved Obama, but I would not make a shrine to him out of my car.
Yeah.
Get a fucking
No, that's a good point.
I think
It's
about this
normally-
a lot because you know that if that kind of like blind hero worshiping had happened with Obama, people like that would have started shitting bricks,
Yeah.
talking about how it's like extreme nationalism and, Obama is like a cult. I don't know. But that there would have been more talk.
Yeah, no
Yeah.
Trumpism. Oh, Tracy literally just took the words out of my mouth in the Discord. Trumpism is a cult.
It's true.
All right. Well, we're warmed up, so let's get
Yeah.
rocking and rolling.
Good.
Everybody start recording.
Yep. Going.
Something weird
Good.
happened. I always praise Audio Hijack, but I went to start editing MuggleCast on Sunday, and like the first 7 minutes, my audio was missing.
Oh no.
Oh my God. I actually
Yeah.
just noticed, and it could be me, but your internet went a little weird there for a second.
I have noticed a little jittery myself, so maybe my internet's having a hiccup at the moment. Okay, everybody ready?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Welcome to Millennial 638. I'm Andrew.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Pamela.
We wanted
Happy
to start out the
Columbus Day.
Oh, I was about to say we wanted to start out the show by saying fuck Columbus Day. Fuck Christopher Columbus. I think this is the ultimate sort of like national representation of us giving participation awards to genocidal maniacs who get lost.
Mm-hmm. It's funny, when we were growing up in school, we were also always taught that Christopher Columbus was this hero. Oh my gosh, he discovered America. That's so amazing. And that was it. That's where it began and ended. But there was so much more to it.
Right.
I feel like every year in history class, when it came up, like as you got older, they started peeling back the layers. So it went from like Columbus was a hero and he was the great uniter, and all of the Indians came and sat on the first Thanksgiving. And then you get to like 9th grade and they're like, oh, well, like, let's talk about genocide. And then you get into college and they're like, actually, like everything you've been told is a lie. Here's what really happened. And sorry if you've been extremely gaslit your whole life.
Right. And not to mention the fact that what we're, taught in this country as young children leads us to believe that his discovery was of like the continental United States. That's what we're led to believe. And that's not at all where he fucking landed. And also, he landed somewhere that, people already lived and had been living for a long time and killed them all. So yeah, not a great guy. I am very much in favor of this movement towards recognizing this day as Indigenous Peoples Day. So it's a good opportunity for all of us to, do some reading and try to learn a bit more.
And you see more and more people each year recognizing it as such, I think. So we'll get there slowly, but surely. So we're a little over 3 weeks away from the presidential election. And actually, just over the past week, all three of us have either gotten our ballots or voted already. Let's start with Laura because she voted today.
Yeah, I voted in person today. Y'all might remember last week I mentioned that I had originally requested an absentee ballot, but it arrived super damaged. And I was like, oh, hell no. I'm not playing these games. So I showed up at my polling place today. I surrendered my absentee ballot so that I could vote in person. And I did. And it was a great experience. I waited for like an hour and some change because the lines in Georgia today were off the chain. So first, I just want to say that I'm really heartened by this and, bless the people who are willing to wait in line for 4 and 5 hours, because that's literally what is happening in Georgia today. However, nobody should have to wait that long to vote. And it's just a testament to the fact that the state can't get its shit together. But my polling place was very joyous. People were like dancing and listening to music in the line. I watched one lady walk out of voting and she got on the phone and was like, oh man, everyone's here. He is going to lose his job. And she was just like so happy to have voted.
That's what I'm going to say when I go to the ballot box.
Yeah, it was very clear that I can't say that I saw anybody who was not in the Biden-Harris state of mind at the polls today. So that was very
Wow.
nice.
The New York Times describes early voting today, just today, in Georgia as record-breaking numbers. So a ton of people are turning out. That's, like you said, really great to see. I received my mail-in ballot on a couple days ago. Haven't filled it out yet, but I've looked everything over. I'm very excited. I know where I'm going to drop off my ballot at one of the ballot boxes in Nevada. Interestingly, I didn't know this until I started looking over the sample ballot. This year, we get to vote on whether or not marriage should be defined between a man and a woman in the Nevada Constitution. So I'm going to take part. Yeah, it still says that in the Nevada Constitution, that marriage is defined as between a man and a woman. But of course, it's up for a vote this year because gay marriage, rules the land now.
Got you. I understand.
Yeah. But it's still in the Constitution. And I guess somebody proposed, let's take that out of our state constitution. So I can't wait to see if that passes or not. I'll be voting no, keep it in the Constitution, please, between a man and a woman.
Yeah.
And then, Pam, what's been going on with you and your ballot?
I got mine on Friday, so that's great. I was getting a little nervous, even though I knew it was going to come eventually, just because I don't know. By the time, these elections come around, I always forget exactly when the ballot shows up. So I'm going to get ready to fill that out. Usually I just drive over and drop it off on election day because the polling area for my neck of the woods is really close to my house. And it's at a senior citizen center, and their polling volunteers are all residents there, and they're just really sweet old people, and they clap for you and you vote, and it's just very wholesome.
Aww.
But this year with the pandemic and also with everybody stressing how important it is to vote as early as possible, I think I'll probably derail my plans a bit and just drop it off sooner rather than later.
Good plan.
Yeah.
We also wanted to just briefly plug that the day that this episode was recorded was the first day of Amy Coney Barrett's hearings in the Senate. She is, of course, President Trump's nominee to fill the vacancy on the Supreme Court following Ruth Bader Ginsburg's death. There were a lot of fireworks today. I don't know if y'all caught any of those moments, but the Democrats are really pushing hard on the idea that there is currently a case to dismantle the Affordable Care Act, which would be ruled on by the Supreme Court 7 or 8 days after the election this year. So they're continuing to hammer home on this idea that the American people should have a say in who fills Justice Ginsburg's seat. So I would just keep an eye on this in the days ahead, and we'll probably talk about it a little more when there's a little more to discuss.
I don't care to watch the hearings. It'll just make me sad and frustrated. Were you watching though, Laura?
No, I mean, I was on the road today because my polling place is an hour away from where I am right now. So I was just kind of catching up as I had breaks throughout my day to tune in and see what was going on.
Okay. Yeah. Also, speaking of politics, just want to plug our latest installment of breaking news over on our Patreon. We reviewed the VP debate and the fly, of course. Everybody had fly fever. In our latest installment of breaking news, we recorded that right after the debate concluded. That is one of the great benefits over on our Patreon. We do these special recordings as soon as a big event occurs. So check that out at the Bay level at patreon.com/millennial. Also, since we do have a mix of some lighter discussion topics today and, of course, some annoying, darker topics that make us all sad, I just wanted to bring up some lighter news here at the beginning of the show. Disney Plus, something that most of us have, they have announced that they are going to release their next Pixar film, Soul, on Disney Plus. It's going to be skipping theaters on December 25th. So happy birthday, Jesus. The reviews I've seen so far are actually really, really good. Critics are calling it peak Pixar. It just gets existential, but still keeps everything light and family friendly. So I'm really looking forward to this movie. And the big surprise here is that they aren't charging extra like they did for Mulan. This is going to be at no additional cost. So that's good. What do you think, Pam? Why no additional cost for this? And yet they did that for Mulan.
You know what? That's a really good question. The only thing I can think of is that perhaps they just wanted to do something nice for the holiday season for families. But at the same time, I think that making sure that Soul would be available for free, essentially, as long as you were subscribed to the platform, just kind of further fuels this idea that they had been tossing around when they decided to charge extra for Mulan, which was that this wasn't necessarily going to be the new normal for other movies. So I think just in good faith, them doing this for their next straight to streaming release speaks volumes to the truth in that statement.
Yeah. And, actually, speaking of this, they just announced today, and we haven't really had time to digest this yet, but Disney just announced that they are restructuring the company to make Disney Plus their top priority. And that is huge news. So maybe we'll talk about that in the weeks ahead. And it just shows you where Disney thinks we're at as a society. Thank God for Disney Plus. I mean, they just introduced that last year, and then the pandemic hit. Disney would have nothing right now if they didn't have Disney Plus.
True.
So that was truly a godsend. I also just wanted to call out that in the Marvel section of Disney Plus now, you can see each of the Marvel movies in their respective phases, and they have all the Marvel movies listed in timeline order. So you can watch all the movies in order. For example, you start off with Captain America, the first Avenger, but where do you go next? You actually go to Captain Marvel, which is a very new movie. And then from there to Iron Man and so on. So if you're looking to watch the Marvel movies in order, Disney Plus now makes that super easy. I thought that was a nice addition.
Oh, that's exciting. That's actually something I've been wanting to do. Maybe over the holidays when I have like a few consecutive days off.
Yeah. Oh, that would be so nice. Just kick back with all the Marvel movies. That'd be very cool. So lots more to get to today, including a segment that I kind of dreamed up the other day, the best of the pandemic. And it's not going to be very grim, despite it being about the pandemic. But first, so many of our sponsors help you improve your life while staying at home. And we have a new sponsor this week who do exactly that. They are Barefoot Scientists. They are the world's first premium foot care company, and they have everything you need for a little me time. Every single product is specifically formulated for the unique needs of your feet using the very best ingredients from science and nature. Take, for instance, Pure Grit. This is a revitalizing mineral scrub that's made with Icelandic volcanic sand, quartz, bentonite clay, magnolia bark extract, and avocado oil to deeply clean and buff away dead skin and pull out impurities. It feels so amazing when you're using it. I use it in the shower, and it just fills the shower with this gorgeous eucalyptus scent. And when you're done, your feet are crazy soft and smooth. Then you can follow it up with High Dive. This is another Barefoot Scientist product. It's an intense hydration cream that contains 15 of the world's most effective moisturizers, and it heals dry, cracked skin and replenishes moisture like nothing else. Plus, all Barefoot Scientist products are hypoallergenic, dermatologist tested, cruelty-free, and free of phthalates and parabens, so you know you're only using the good stuff. I am really enjoying these products because I suffer from dry and cracked feet because I'm in a drier climate and I'm walking around barefoot most of the day. So I'm wearing down that skin. But these products have been able to quickly fix those issues and make me feel not gross. They are lifesavers. Right now, our listeners can get a special 20% off their first order at barefootscientist.com using code MIL1L. And shipping is always free. That's barefootscientist.com and code MIL. Go get all your foot care essentials right now at barefootscientist.com and enter promo code MIL at checkout for 20% off your first order plus free shipping.
So, fun story about that. I'm a hippie. I don't know if that's ever come across with all my marijuana
I gathered
smoking.
that over time.
But I really like being barefoot most of the time. So I'll like walk outside barefoot as long as it's not too hot or too cold. I never wear socks. I don't like wearing closed-toed shoes most of the time. Just makes me feel very constricted. As a result of this, my feet are definitely like in need of some help. My significant other has at times informed me that I have what he deemed gargoyle feet. Um, and
Hot.
I've really been enjoying these products because they've helped with that. They actually also have these booties that you can wear. I just wanted to mention you can wear them at night, and they've got this like
Ooh.
silicone like gel product inside that helps moisturize them overnight, and it's been like night and day. It's made such a difference for me. Anyway, sorry.
That's awesome. No, I'm so glad to hear that. I actually wasn't sure if you received these, so I didn't throw it to you.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Excellent. I'll move that into the center of the ad. And thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah. For
Okay,
sure.
it's time for, I guess now we're just merging the two. I mean, really, since Trump got COVID, it's all, one. How about I just play both of the sound effects
at the same time?
That might be fun. The remix.
Yeah, let's play both at once.
Beautiful.
Oh man. Okay. So in a really serious story, but also a representation of the fact that Trump's crazy club is going full on crazy as we lead up to the election. On Friday, news broke that the FBI had thwarted an attempt to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan. This is no joke.
Fuck.
Yeah, there was a group of Trump enthusiasts who had a plan to, quote, need 200 men to storm the Capitol building in Lansing to take hostages, including Whitmer, and that they were also planning to try Whitmer for treason before the November 2020 elections. I don't know what their method of trying her for treason was going to be. Like, it's like this weird Wild West citizens arrest thing that they were trying to do. But what's scary is that this group had also discussed shooting up Whitmer's vacation home or trying to abduct her as she left there or her official summer residence. And on top of it, they had actually cased out her homes. So they had been monitoring them and like keeping an eye on her schedule and like when people were coming and going. So this is pretty scary shit. But just to drive home where they're getting this from, you can look no further than Donald Trump's Twitter. He has a tweet from earlier in the summer where he put out this thing in all caps that said, "Liberate Michigan," because of course the state wasn't opening up due to COVID-19, and he was trying to bully states into opening up. Then, in response to the FBI thwarting this whole thing, he put out this ridiculous response on Friday. He said, "Governor Whitmer of Michigan has done a terrible job. She locked down her state for everyone except her husband's boating activities. The federal government provided tremendous help to the great people of Michigan. My Justice Department and federal law enforcement announced today that they foiled a dangerous plot against the governor of Michigan. Rather than say thank you, she calls me a white supremacist. While Biden and Democrats refuse to condemn Antifa, anarchists, looters, and mobs that burn down Democratic-run cities." Are you fucking kidding me? The woman, like, they find out that there was a plot to kidnap and potentially murder her. And you're like, where's my thanks? First of all, you didn't do shit, dipshit.
Right.
You don't get to claim the FBI.
Right. If anything, he only aided and abetted these people.
Yep.
That, decided to try and carry this out.
And by the way, I read that, not that she had to, but she did thank the FBI and the Justice Department. But Trump always needs to make it about him. Thank me. It was my Justice Department, my FBI. You owe me a favor. But, she was rightfully pointing out that these white supremacists, these crazy people, were influenced by the president.
Yep. Not to mention, he really doesn't get to claim the intelligence community. The intelligence community doesn't fucking like him.
Right. And he doesn't
So-
like them either.
Right, exactly. I mean, their intelligence, he doesn't want anything to do with that. So yeah, just something that we wanted to make sure we don't have to spend a lot of time or dwell on it or anything, but these are the
It's
kinds
scary.
of things. Yes, it's frightening leading up to the election because we're starting to watch his most rabid followers escalate very quickly. And it's frightening to think about what could be in the weeks ahead.
And if the tables were turned and we saw this happening from the left, we would never hear the end of it from Trump and Fox News.
Never. And they make up shit all the time. Like they're continuing to go on about Hillary's emails still. Even after that investigation was open and closed, God knows how many times because they couldn't fucking find anything. Trump, I think he's forgotten who he's running against this year. I think he's trying to run against Hillary.
It's the steroids. He's losing his mind.
Yeah. He's getting his roid rage. Well, speaking of which, Trump's doctor cleared him to return to public engagements, so that's fun.
Oh, perfect
Great, so he
timing.
can catch COVID a second time.
Or give it to somebody else.
Or give it to somebody else, yeah.
All of the above.
There's still no clear answer on when his last negative test was. Nobody can get any kind of firm answer there. And technically, Trump is still well within the window to be infectious. So, that's great. But he's had some really unhinged interviews, particularly with Fox News in recent days. He was talking at one point in an interview about how California is experiencing drought due to sending water to help little fish. What the fuck was this? He's lost it. He's fucking he lost it a long time ago, but even for him, the cheese has slid off the cracker.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, I know. He's also been calling himself immune to COVID-19. He put out this really deranged video on his Twitter last week being like, and I got all of the best medicine and I'm cured. They called it a treatment, but I call it a cure and maybe I'm immune now. I don't know. Like, this is the kind of shit that he's pulling.
And he's also saying...
Maybe is the key word there. So if anybody calls him on it later, they can just be like, well, he didn't say he was immune. He said maybe he might be immune. It's like when the weatherman says there's a slight chance of rain. Covers their ass.
Right. Well, and they'll probably pull the same thing they always do, which is, oh, he was kidding. He was being sarcastic. Kind of like Tucker Carlson. Nobody takes him seriously.
Yeah.
Except for the ones who do.
Yeah, the Fox News, I don't listen to these interviews. I see some highlights, so to speak, on Twitter, but his Fox interviews were his way of campaigning while he was recovering from COVID. And actually, one of the Sean Hannity ones was hilarious because he would lose his voice at points. And Hannity would have to jump in and be like, are you there, sir? Are you there? He couldn't talk because he was sick.
Yeah, he sounded incredibly hoarse.
Mm-hmm. Also, there was supposed to be a second presidential debate this week. It has been canceled. There was a big tussle between the two campaigns. Biden wanted to do a virtual campaign because this Trump administration has COVID running all over it. I don't blame him at all, like I said last week. And Trump didn't like that idea of a virtual event because he wants to fight in person. He doesn't want somebody to cut off his mic, stuff like that. So the debate has been canceled. The parties couldn't agree. The third debate, which will now be the second debate and final debate, is still on. That's in 2 weeks from now, I guess. And that'll be only about a week before the election. I think it's like October. What day is it? I should have looked this up.
Like the 29th or something.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, if it happens at this point, I'm not going to be surprised if we don't see another presidential debate. Because COVID or not, his performance in the first debate was disastrous. I mean, he succeeded in making it so nothing of substance came out of that debate, but it also didn't do anything for him. His polling got even worse afterwards.
Yeah. The third debate is scheduled for October 22nd in Nashville. So we'll see, like Laura said, if that will still happen or not. I guess it will, because by then Trump will definitely no longer have the virus. I assume they're going to try to do an in-person thing, but we'll see. And speaking of Trump's erratic behavior, I also just wanted to mention that he's flip-flopped on the second stimulus package. Last week, he said no stimulus package until after the election. He was holding help for Americans hostage. That was big news. It sent the stock market crashing. For some reason, he didn't think that would do that. His precious stock market wouldn't be affected by a tweet like that. It was. And then the next day, he flops. And he's saying, oh, give me the biggest stimulus package ever. Make it bigger. All this stuff. I'm like, dude, what is freaking wrong with you? And they worked over the weekend to try and hash out a deal. They weren't able to. So we don't know if this second stimulus package will occur. I certainly hope so. But it seems like there's still some big hurdles for both parties to get over.
Even if it does, there's no way for them to get payments out to people before the election. They waited too long.
But wouldn't people still want to see them come to a deal before the election? I mean, that's what the Republicans want at this point because they're not polling well really anywhere. So they want to help shore up some votes.
I mean, I just think about sort of like the average situation that a lot of Americans are in right now. And I don't know that they're going to care when they come to a deal so much as when the money shows up, right? And remember last time how long it took for people to get payments? There are some people who still haven't gotten their stimulus check. So I think there's already a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths. And I mean, 3/4 of the American public wishes that the Senate would focus more on coronavirus relief than the Amy Coney Barrett hearings. So they're already shooting themselves in the foot. I don't know. I think it's a lost cause at this point.
Here's how everybody can get their money quickly. Everybody just tweets their Venmo username to Donald Trump, and he sends everybody $1,000 via Venmo.
You meaning to the hashtag Cash App Friday, you know?
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah, I know.
Is that real,
but that'll
by
be,
the way?
you know, maybe he could do that.
He'll probably just take out another $500 million loan from Putin and then owe him even more money.
We know that because we've seen your tax returns, bitch. Okay, so one other story. This is kind of lighter. I just wanted to share that Singapore Airlines is turning their grounded planes into restaurants, and tickets for this opportunity have actually been selling out really quick. They sold out in 30 minutes. Singapore Airlines, Bloomberg reports that all seats at the restaurants sold out within 30 minutes of bookings opening, and Singapore Airlines is selling 4 different tiers of meals, ranging from a meal in a suite for around $474 right down to an economy experience for the equivalent of $39. Around half the plane's seats will be available for dining to allow for social distancing. So they're selling tickets to eat an airplane meal on a grounded plane. And people want this.
Based on what you're describing, yeah, it sounds like they've upped the quality of the food. I mean, I've never been on Singapore. I've never flown with Singapore Airlines, so it might be really ritzy for all I know.
I think
I assume that if they have suites in first class, the food's probably pretty good. But like, I'm not paying $40 to eat economy level airplane food
on a
in
plane.
What world? I know, in those tiny seats.
Yeah, exactly. But people just really miss that experience. Apparently, they're like super addicted. But okay, come on.
Are they going to fly you around while you're eating too, or is it just? Oh, okay.
You sit on the tarmac.
Well, Roshni in the Discord is observing that Singapore Airlines has really nice airplanes.
Okay, but how good is the food on Singapore Airlines, even in first class? Like, I know international flights have some decent meals, but it's still not worth this.
I'm sure not, but I have a feeling they're probably catering something in. Like, I can't imagine that they're actually serving people regular airplane meals.
I hope it is. I really hope so. Well, this hasn't happened yet, so I guess we don't know. Maybe I could have checked out their site, but it doesn't mention any special food. But
I guess has this already started, or is this starting?
it's later this month.
soon? Okay, well,
2
we'll have
weeks
to
from now.
scroll through Instagram. I'm sure that like people will be posting pictures of this airplane food.
Yeah. And apparently, because less people have been flying, there's been this surplus of airplane food, and multiple airline food suppliers have been offering their meals and snacks for purchase by customers directly. Again, none of this stuff is very good. I don't know why you would order it unless you're on the plane and you have no other options.
Even the free food, like not the free food because you pay for it, but like even if you're flying first class on an airline that's based in the United States, like the food's not even that good. I think one time I got upped to first class by happenstance on, it was either like Southwest or United, and like the food came with the seat, so that was great, but it was not good.
Yeah, they're still microwaving it
Yeah,
behind the pilot.
it's still like your bagel's still coming in a plastic bag.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and with some shitty spork, some shitty plastic spork.
yeah,
That's not sharp enough.
worth it for the free alcohol.
Yes.
Maybe,
Yeah,
but the
that's the
food is
important
nothing
part.
to write home about even up there. So
The alcohol will never let you down, that's for sure. But the food,
right, it's like mimosas and keep them coming, please.
right. You know, I hate dinner time on a plane. This is only on international flights anymore, but they bring out all this food and you're smelling everybody else's food and all the recycled air. It's like, ugh.
I
it's
feel the same way
overwhelming.
about people that I know that you can, but like, there's always one person that brings McDonald's on the airline with
Yes.
them, and you can smell it no matter how far away they are.
Yep.
Yeah.
Or
Not
like a
good.
fish sandwich or just something that
Yeah.
doesn't smell very good
It's
to
like
the
even if
general
it's like
worst.
French fries, where it's like I wouldn't mind the smell of McDonald's French fries out in the open, but somehow on a plane, it's just not good.
because you can't walk away from it. You're
Yeah,
smelling it
that's
for
true.
the next
It's
hour.
just like 3 hours of McDonald's wafting in the air.
yeah. I
This
can't-
reminds me, and I feel like if you've ever worked in an environment that has a break room, you always have that one coworker who microwaves fish for their meal. And you walk in and it's just like so pungent and you're like, oh man, there he goes again.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's like the unspoken no rule.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine like being a vegetarian or vegan and you have to smell meat on a plane. Like you don't like that, right? If you don't eat meat, I don't know. Anyway,
I mean, I'm definitely, I don't know. I'm more pescatarian, so I don't feel like I can speak for others.
yeah. Okay, so now it's time for something I'm calling Best of the Pandemic. And what inspired this is I wanted to make a hand sanitizer recommendation this week, but then we were looking for more fun topics this episode to lighten things up. And I thought, well, let's talk about all of the things we're doing or using more during the pandemic and kind of do a best of. So I wanted to start with best hand sanitizer. And this one came to mind because early on in the pandemic, we were desperate for hand sanitizer, right? You couldn't find any good brands anywhere. Everything was sold out. And then all these random brands started popping up in stores. And it's like, you get so excited to see some random ass hand sanitizer at the liquor store that you just grab it because it's the only stuff you can find. So for the past few months, that's been the situation that I've been in. I've just been buying the shitty hand sanitizer whenever I saw it. Of course, they've become more plentiful now. But the other day, I was like, while I finally treat myself to a name brand hand sanitizer, and I was at Target and I saw they had Germ X. And have you guys heard of the sanitizer before? Yeah. I see it on signs sometimes in restaurants and stuff. They have partnerships with stores and restaurants, I think. That is some good hand sanitizer. It's moisturizing. It feels smooth on your skin and it smells great. I've had some hand sanitizers that get all crusty. Have you guys had that? It's so disgusting.
Yeah, like rubbery kind of, and there's residue. Yeah.
And I'm like putting it on after getting back into my car, and then it's all over my steering wheel. Oh, it's so gross. But now I've seen the light. I have Germax. It was plentiful at Target, and I'm so glad I'm past that dark chapter in my life.
I wanted to mention any hand sanitizer from Bath and Body Works. Similar to what you're saying, Andrew, they smell great and they're not super drying. Although I always, anytime I put hand sanitizer on, I always put on some hand lotion too, just because if you're persistently putting on hand sanitizer, you will still dry your hands out. But yeah, the Bath and Body Works ones smell pretty good and get the job done.
I wanted to recommend one called EO hand sanitizer spray, specifically the lavender one, which again just smells nice. It smells like you're in a spa. And I like that it comes in different formats, but I like the spray version because especially if you're rushing to get somewhere, I feel like the spray sanitizers get the same job done, but the drying time is faster. So if you're struggling with like a hand sanitizer that takes a long time to rub in, it might be helpful to also have a spray one on hand for, quicker transactions and stuff like that.
So, side note here, back when it was still really difficult to find hand sanitizers, we went in the store one day and we were like, oh, we need hand sanitizer. And they only had one variety, and I forget the name of it. It's some off brand crap they were selling at Kroger. But it's advertised as alcohol-free hand sanitizer. And it's literally like a bottle of water. So like when you put it on your hands, it's so liquidy that it just like runs everywhere.
Ooh.
And like when you rub it in, it feels like you're just rubbing water on your hands. And so when we would use it, we would be like, I don't think this is doing anything.
Well, that's the other important thing too, like, because I've never seen more brands of hand sanitizer than I have this year.
Yeah.
You have to check and make sure that it's at least 60% alcohol. Because if not, it's not doing anything for you. So like the CDC says, anything from like 60 to 95% alcohol content is the sweet spot for actually killing germs. So
again, Target, they've got like 10 different brands in the aisle. And I'm like, who do I trust here? Because I've also seen these articles that say some hand sanitizers are actually really bad for you or poisonous or something.
Yeah.
Like
somebody, Marcus here in the Discord said a local distillery shifted into making hand sanitizer. It's been great to get sanitizer while still supporting local businesses. I don't know who is doing what, but I swear to God, I've gotten some hand sanitizers that straight up smell like tequila. And I'm pretty sure they're coming from the distillery or like vodka too, even though vodka doesn't really have a scent in the bottle, but like it's just odd. So I'm assuming that those come from some kind of distillery.
Yeah. I mean, I sanitize my like the inside of my body with alcohol all the time. So why not?
Oh yeah.
Don't let Trump hear that. See, I told you.
Yeah, we just inject it.
Okay, so cleaning. Yeah. Okay, so best mask. I've had some random masks that I've bought off of Etsy, including some Animal Crossing ones, but my favorite is this really nice one by 32 Degrees. Have you guys heard of that brand before?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
they do like some, underwear and stuff.
Yeah, I have undershirts by them.
Yeah. This one, I'm going to put it on now. First of all, I love the texture of it, and it cups your face so nicely. Like it's going to look stupid while I'm talking, but I love how it goes under my chin as well. And like I said, it just feels really nice. I feel like it whisks the heat away and the sweat away because I was going to the gym a couple times. I haven't in a few weeks, but this was great for the gym as well. So I feel like it breathes nicely, and yet it passes that exhale test. You need a mask that if you breathe out, you can't feel your breath. If put your hand in front of your mouth as you're wearing the mask, and if you can't feel your breath, that means it's a good mask. If you can feel your breath, get another mask because you're going to catch COVID with that thing. So that's my one. Did you guys have a particular brand or anything? I know there's not many, but
yeah, no, I don't have any particular brands, but I did want to give a shout out to all of the creators on Etsy who are making really cute masks. A friend of mine surprised me with like a puppy paw print mask a couple weeks ago. It just like showed up in the mail and it's really cute. And some of them have gotten really fancy. Like the one that I got has the little like bar in it, like the little foldy bit by your nose to kind of
Nice.
like fold it down because I wear glasses sometimes and they'll get fogged up. But it
Mhm.
also has like drawstrings that go behind your ears so you can adjust the straps so that they fit your face shape. Sometimes when you get a mask, it'll be too big or too small. And if it's too small, it makes your ears stick out like a cartoon character. So I really like that
Yeah.
addition.
I forgot to
I
mention the
I
32.
was gonna say really quick that I haven't bought any from the store. My brother's girlfriend, when they came to visit, she has been making a bunch of masks for people, so she brought us like 5 each. And I mean, they're holding up really well. They're doing a good job. They passed the breathe test, and there's also space in there to put filters if you want them. She left a little hole so you could like replace filters, which I thought was really cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. My 32 degrees mask was available at Costco, by the way. They were sold in 3 packs. So definitely recommend those. Okay. Best TV/movie escape. So this is like a show or a movie that was released during the pandemic. Laura?
Yeah, we have to start out with the one that captured like a global audience at the beginning of the pandemic, Tiger King. This, I remember we blew through it in like 2 sittings, I think, because it is such an insane show that you, as you're watching it, you're like, oh, it can't get any crazier than this. And then it does. And there were just so many like memeable and quotable moments that came out of it. It definitely feels like an era of the pandemic. Like when I think of it
Mhm.
now, it feels like it happened forever ago, but it was like April. So really not that long ago. But still really super watchable. So if you haven't yet and you want to watch something that makes you feel better about yourself, Tiger King is the way to go. Um, Unsolved Mysteries, the return of Unsolved Mysteries, they brought it to Netflix. They rebooted it and love the first season. I think a second series is coming soon. I'm
Yes.
super into like crime and ghosts and aliens and shit. So this is right up my alley. Speaking of ghosts, The Haunting of Bly Manor, which just came out on Friday and I've already finished. So I'm not going to say too much about it because I feel like we're still in that like statute of limitations for spoilers. But I quite enjoyed it. And then Hamilton. Hamilton was like the first event we all got to experience together. There were people who sat down and pushed play at the same time, including creator Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yeah.
And it was just so great, especially for people who might not have had access to see the show live to be able to see the live recording. So
Yeah.
those are mine.
I just want to mention High Score on Netflix. This is a new docuseries that follows the early days of video games, particularly Nintendo and Sega and RPGs, role-playing games, and the battle between Sega and Nintendo and the launching of Sonic and Mario. It was all up my alley, so I definitely recommend that. It's on Netflix. It's presented in a very entertaining way as well, and they do a lot of clever video game what should I call it, CGI and sound effects to aid the documentary too. So definitely check that out if you're into video games.
I had a hard time thinking of things that happened like early on in the pandemic because what is time, you know? But Hamilton is definitely one of mine because, like Laura, I think it was just really fun that we still have these little pockets where we were all watching things together. So it did
Mhm.
kind of feel like a normal year to get like communally excited about drops. Anyway, I picked some more recent releases. Great British Bake Off is back on Netflix, and I think that that's just such a fun nothing bad happens escapism show. And along the same veins, because I think I've just been like gravitating towards series where nothing bad is really going to happen. I also wanted to recommend Julie and the Phantoms, which is Kenny Ortega's new show. This was actually recommended to me by a listener of the podcast. And I know I'm not the target demographic because it's definitely like meant for a younger audience, but it's so much fun. So if you're into, like that High School Musical type show, then you will enjoy this. It's really, really sweet.
Cool. Okay, next category, and let's try to get through the remainder quickly because we're at 45 minutes.
Sure.
So let's look ahead. Best upcoming escape to help you survive fall and winter.
I'm so excited for season 4 of The Crown coming soon. Didn't used to be super into the royals, but this show's super compelling. So hell yeah.
That's good to know. I still haven't checked that out. So maybe
it's so good. You would love it. There's so much like drama and palace intrigue. It would just be right up your alley. Season 2 of The Mandalorian, really excited for that.
Yes.
Loved the first season. And then this is a joint one with Pam. I see we both have this. Selena. I'm so excited for the series coming in early December.
You guys brought it into it. You guys brought the release date into existence because you guys were asking before the episode last week, I think, when is Selena coming out? Or maybe it was on air. And then the next morning they announced the release date. It was perfect timing.
Yeah, we definitely manifested that. I would like to believe.
The word I was looking for. I want to call out a couple of big video games that are coming up. I'm planning on burying myself in these games when they're released. First of all, the sequel to the excellent Spider-Man for PS4. This sequel is going to star Miles Morales, which is awesome. The trailer looks amazing. And then also the sequel to Horizon Zero Dawn. That game was what I played after The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. It's on PlayStation 4 as well, also PS5. But this one looks excellent, and I was so fascinated by that world in Horizon Zero Dawn that I'm really, really looking forward to Horizon Forbidden West. And I'm just going to try to, what does Mark call it when you perfect a game, you 100% completion, you gold star it, or?
I don't know that he has a name for that. I think it's probably gold starring or being a completionist.
Platinumed, I think was it.
There you go.
Because he told me, because he bragged that he platinumed Spider-Man, and I was jealous because when you platinum Spider-Man, you get Spider-Man in his boxers as a new suit to wear. And of course, I really want that because the Spider-Man in the game is hot. So anyway.
Like a basic bitch, I get suckered into those really cheesy made-for-TV movies around the holidays. So I'll be watching those on Netflix and or Hallmark whenever they pique my interest. And also Ready Player 2, which is the Ready Player 1 sequel, is coming out at the end of next month. So I'll be excited to read that.
I'm so pumped for that. Thank you for the reminder. Okay, best techless entertainment / activity that you can do during the pandemic. I've mentioned this a couple times before. I love hiking. We're in a great spot right now. Plenty of places to hike nearby, especially with the weather getting cooler. I love hiking. It's such a great way to clear your head, get outside, not look at your phone for a while, see nature, just be at peace.
I see side note here for a moment. Jewel mentioned that she also platinumed Spider-Man.
Oh, good job, Jewel.
So maybe she can send you some screen grabs of Peter
Spider-Man
Parker in his boxers.
Yes, yes, please.
I want to recommend outdoor day drinking. This is something I've mentioned on the show a couple times. But we found that, we typically like to go bar hopping. That's something that we like to do and we haven't been able to do. But we found this one brewery that is doing exclusively like outdoor service where there's just picnic tables outside. The picnic tables are spaced like 20 feet apart. So you're not anywhere near anyone else. And, as long as you decide to like pod and make sure that you're going with people that you're confident are being smart about the pandemic and don't get too like friendly as you get drunk, it can be a really good way to like replicate some of that bar hopping if that's something you're into.
I put down learning an instrument. I just think it's really fun to exercise your brain that way, especially if you you don't know how to read sheet music, and that's something that you're learning how to do in the process. So I've still really been enjoying learning how to play the piano, and I also picked up the ukulele again after years. So that's been really fun too. I wish I could play the guitar, but my fingers are not long enough to get the chords right.
Me
It's really
neither.
hard. Yeah,
I have short fingers.
me
And
too.
I went through a phase in high school where I tried and it just didn't work.
I can play one song on the guitar, and it's Sixpence's Kiss Me, because it's only 3 chords and that's it. And they're all really close together.
I want to start playing.
I used to be able to play the opening to Wake Me Up When September Ends. Like,
Oh,
surprise,
you would.
surprise. I know. I was 15 and I was like, oh, fuck yeah.
Like that. Da-da-da,
Yep.
da-da-da-da-da, da-da-da. I'm off key.
That was it. I couldn't do anything beyond that.
I want to start playing piano again. I want to exercise my brain. It definitely needs that assistance. Best unifier, second to last category. So something that brings you and your friends together, like an online game or a unique communication app, etc.
So these are games that can bring you together, but also drive you apart. D&D. Been playing that online with some friends over the past few weeks. Among Us. Holy cow, this game. I don't know if y'all have played it, but it's awesome. Something that you can obviously play in a group, but it's also possible to play it like over a Zoom call like this. And then Fall Guys.
Yeah, did you play season 2? That was just released.
Not yet.
I haven't yet either. I'm excited about that. So one of our mutual friends, actually, Laura, started organizing weekly Mario Kart tournaments.
Aww.
John. Yeah, so we've been doing that since like May or June. And
so
I think
cute.
I mentioned this on the show a few months ago. We put money on the line. So we each chip in $5. Of course, I have no problem doing this because I always rank in the top 3 because I'm really good. But it's like 10 people who gather each week and play. And it's just a cool way to have some structure in the stay-at-home life and have something to do with other people. So that's been a lot of fun. I've been thinking maybe I'll organize my own Mario Kart tournament with like millennial listeners or something, because I'd like to do it. I have another one of these groups. Yeah.
I picked Netflix Party, which it's just really nice to be able to watch stuff at the same time as your friends. We've used it once before here for this show, and that was also really fun. And then also Discord, which we also use obviously for the patrons, but you can also set up your own Discord server for your group of friends. And I mean, it doesn't always stay organized, but you can organize it, which is really nice because, if you have friends in different time zones, you don't have to start from the top of a group chat depending on what you missed. So it's kind of cool to just have basically like a private forum to yourselves and create different categories and use that to keep in touch and share different things and stuff like that. So
speaking of Netflix Party, I should have mentioned this at the top of the show. Pam, did you see that Disney Plus has their own Netflix Party too? But it's like an official implementation.
They released that recently, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if they released it, if they rolled it out en masse, but I know for Pen 15 on Hulu, they were also announcing like on the show page that you could watch it with up to 6 people or something.
Oh, okay.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but the show's about 2 best friends, so I think that I couldn't tell if it was like a gimmick just for the show or if they were planning to maybe like soft launch it with the show and then roll it out.
They really should. It's a great idea.
Yeah.
I think the Disney Plus one is up to 5 people. Netflix Party, I think what everybody likes about it is you can have, I think, an unlimited number of people in there, like we did for one of our watch parties. Okay, so those are our best of the pandemicies. That makes it sound like an award show. Thank you, everybody, for coming to this year's event. We'll see you next year when there's still no vaccine.
Sounds like something Michael Scott would come up with.
The pandemies. And everybody would say, Michael, that's really insensitive of you. What are you thinking? Well, the pandemic is here to stay, at least here in the United States. And we have another sponsor this week who will help you stay safely at home. They are Stamps.com. This holiday season, more people will be mailing stuff than ever before. Because think about it. If you're seeing less people this holiday in person, that means you may want to send them things in the mail. That means the post office is going to be very busy. You don't have time for that. Stamps.com brings the post office and now UPS shipping right to your computer. Mail and ship anything from the convenience of your home or office. With Stamps.com, anything you can do at the post office, you can do with just a few clicks. Plus, Stamps.com saves you money with deep discounts that you can't even get at the post office. Stamps.com brings all the mailing and shipping services you need right to your computer in the comfort of your home office. Whether you're a small business sending invoices, an online seller shipping out products, or just working from home and you need to mail some stuff, Stamps.com can handle it all with ease. Simply use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send it. And once your mail is ready, just leave it for your mail carrier, schedule a pickup, or drop it in a mailbox. It's just that simple. And like I said, with Stamps.com, you can get great discounts too. With Stamps.com, you get 5 cents off every first class stamp and up to 40% off priority mail and up to 62% off UPS shipping rates. Stamps.com is a no-brainer. It's saving you time and money. I've been a customer for years. It is way easier than dealing with the people at the post office, and you just get everything done faster. Don't spend a minute of your holiday season at the post office this year. Sign up for Stamps.com instead. There's no risk. With our promo code MILL, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the homepage, and type in MILL. That's Stamps.com, enter code MILL. Stamps.com, never go to the post office again. What glorious words. All right, Pam, what else are we talking about this week?
I wanted to talk about this new initiative that Yelp is rolling out. They're actually gearing up to mark pages of businesses accused of racist content. And they announced this past Thursday. And so basically the plan is that if there is a business that falls in line with this, you'll see an alert, right? When you go to their page that reads business accused of racist behavior. And then they will also link to an article from a credible media outlet so that Yelpers can read up of what exactly constituted this alert to be put on the establishment's page. So Yelp is assuring everybody that they are only going to do this when there's resounding evidence. And they also already have an alert that is a public attention alert. And this flags businesses whose staffers have either been accused of racism towards customers or whose staffers have been targeted by managers who have been racist. And a spokesperson for Yelp also revealed that in rolling out this new business accused of racist behavior banner, there is a possibility for businesses to take steps to have it sort of removed. So like if they were to, for example, fire the offending employee, that banner could get downgraded to just a public attention alert banner. So obviously this is a little bit controversial because even though the company is stressing that they'd only do this for establishments that, you know, merit it by going off of resounding evidence that these instances occurred, people are obviously worried that perhaps it could be abused or companies could be mislabeled as such. So that's where we're at with that. What do you guys think about this, though? Do you think it's a good idea or do you have concerns?
I think it's a good idea. And most importantly, it's thought through. You're going to be able to see a credible source that has more information about these accusations of racism. And there are going to be ways to dispute it as well. So far, so good, I think. And I think Yelp and other places like Google Maps should be calling out this type of behavior and letting you know that it's there. And it's better than somebody in the reviews bringing it up, because while they should, some people might not just believe it. But if Yelp is linking to a credible source, it's going to carry more weight.
Yeah, and I think a credible source also speaks to patterns. So while it's unfortunate and should never happen, it's entirely possible that as any of us go throughout our lives, we could walk into an establishment and face discrimination from an individual. But that's very different from facing like systemic discrimination on the part of like an organization or a business. So to me, this doesn't seem like it would be taking one-off instances and like painting with a broad brush across an entire industry. This really seems like the intent is to try and weed out and like suss out patterns of discrimination and really call those out, which I think is the right thing to do.
Yeah, yeah. I totally agree. And I hope that, you know, I'm sure that they would do their research because the credible source factor definitely would put me at ease. At the same time, I know that it's very hard for businesses to get even like misposted bad reviews taken off. Like for example, I know a local business owner who had a bad review put on their store's page, and you could tell very clearly by reading through the review that the person mistook the establishment and they were actually talking
Oh,
about another store that was
Oh, that
nearby,
sucks.
but Yelp wouldn't remove the review because they said that it would
mm,
be stifling freedom of speech even though they reached out and stuff like that. So I would hope that like something like this wouldn't happen, especially because this is like a much more grave situation. But I think it's a good first step because I think everybody's trying to be more conscious about where they choose to spend their hard-earned money, and this is another way to, ensure that you're frequenting establishments that align with your beliefs.
mhm.
So,
Absolutely.
yeah, I want to know also like what are our Yelp usage normalcies? Like, do you guys go on Yelp when you're looking for new places to try? Do you leave reviews? Do you read reviews?
I've actually, so I used to use Yelp a lot, and I used to leave reviews, and I like looking at all my old reviews sometimes just to see what I was thinking about a place like 10 years ago. And I try to leave positive reviews when people deserve them because it can really help a business out. But then I also do enjoy leaving negative reviews because if a business pissed me off, I want other people to know. I want to stab them a little bit. I'm messed up like that. Um, so, but I have switched to Google Maps, and I made the switch a couple years ago when Google just started encouraging me to leave reviews. I just like their interface better, and I'm already using Google Maps anyway to get around town and discover, see directions and whatnot. So while I'm there, I might as well leave reviews, and Google Maps kind of gamifies it. Like you can earn points when you leave reviews, and they'll send you notifications letting you know how many people see your reviews. So you'll feel like, oh, okay, this my time is actually useful. It's helping other people. So I'm loyal to Google Maps now.
I don't use Yelp a ton. Um, I, I will leave a review if it feels like somebody really went above and beyond, and I want to make sure that they get kudos for it, or if someone really fucked up
Mm.
and I want to make sure to like stick it to them. Like I had a situation recently where a place that I had a recurring membership to would not cancel my membership, and I
Yeah, fuck
dispute yeah.
people like that.
Yeah, and I disputed the transactions because they refused to cancel it. And then they turned my chargebacks over to a collections company as unpaid debts. And so I've been going around to every place that I can find that I can review them
I
and
love
just
that.
shitting on them and naming the names of everyone I've talked to. I went to the Better Business Bureau and shit on them there. So
Nice.
I had fun with that.
That's amazing. I don't have the energy to do any of that. Honestly, the most I use Yelp for is to look up food pictures on restaurants I want to try and also to check like the menu at certain places. I just for fun, I just want to know if anybody else does this, because I'll do this sometimes when I'm bored. Do y'all ever go on Yelp and like look up places that you actually do enjoy to see if there's any bad reviews up there?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
On Google, I'll do this.
On
Yeah.
Google. Have you also done it for like places that you've worked before? Because I've definitely done that too. It's pretty funny.
So there was the craziest review left of the Apple store that I worked in like, this is years ago in New York City. And this person was like clearly pissed off with whatever had happened. I don't remember what their circumstances were, but they were talking about getting an appointment at the Genius Bar, which was where I worked. And what we would do is we would tell people like, hey, if you have an appointment, line up to the left. If you don't have an appointment, line up to the right. And this person wrote this review that was like, when you walk up, there will be somebody standing there bellowing at you. If you have an appointment, get to the left. And if you don't, get to the right. And then the review goes, I shit you not. Where else did they split people up into lines like this? That's right. Auschwitz.
Holy shit.
I was like,
no way.
Wow.
Like,
yeah, that's a crazy one.
Yeah, it was. We all stood in the back and laughed about it when we saw it. We were just like, what the fuck?
Reviews are no joke, though. Like, some businesses live and die by their reviews. I know a friend who works in a certain industry who they rely on reviews on places like Google Maps, Yelp, TripAdvisor so much. They're studying those reviews all the time. So, I kind of feel bad for businesses in that any Joe Schmo can go and post one of these reviews, like a batshit one like Laura's, and get away with it. And you can report these reviews, but they won't always be taken down because these guys are trying to play fair too. To your question, Pam, about crazy reviews, I just saw this one recently. It doesn't top Laura's, but a new Domino's opened nearby, and I'm very excited about that. I love Domino's. And so there's not many reviews yet because it's brand new. I left them a 5-star because I want to, support them as if a national chain like Domino's needs my help. But one of these reviews is just crazy. So this is a 1-star review. Today, on September 25th, 2020, I walked into Domino's at 6:55 p.m. to pick up an online order and noticed that I wasn't greeted when I walked in. I thought, okay, that's fine. As long as someone comes to the register to serve me, then it's not a big deal. Well, I end up waiting over 5 minutes and still no greeting, no assurance that I will be helped. And this sets a poor quality service, which I've noticed with this particular staff in the past. And this Domino's hasn't even been open that long yet. And yet they seem to have a toxic group of employees. At about the 6th or 7th minute, one employee said something about my order, which I don't remember, and proceeded to go back to work. After another 5 minutes or so, walked out at 7:10 p.m., so it was approximately 15 minutes wasted. I informed one of the employees to cancel my order because of poor customer service. This man named Morgan called me dude. It goes on and on. Dude, it's a Domino's. Who gives a shit?
My whole thing is like, did you say hi though? Like, did you say hi to them?
Yeah. And you know what? I've been in this Domino's like 5 times now. They actually do greet you every time you walk in. I'm like, wow, that's impressive for a Domino's. They're stepping up their game. But, people are just, and he's given the timestamp 6:55 p.m., 5 minutes later.
I'm imagining that guy writing the review while he's just loitering.
Like raging.
Right.
In the store. Yeah.
I'm a Karen that way sometimes too. While I'm pissed because I'm waiting for something, I go and post a review while I'm waiting for them to.
Oh my goodness.
So I am kind of this reviewer in some regards occasionally.
I find it hilarious that they can remember their wait time down to the second, but at one point they're like, they came out and said something to me about my order, but I couldn't remember.
Right. Yeah. Like what?
I used to work at a coffee shop and we would get rewarded for good Yelp reviews. Like they would give us, bonuses or gift cards or something like that to incentivize good customer service. But I mean, I don't know. It's hit or miss because not everybody's going to be leaving Yelp reviews, and they would like run campaigns and like offer people free drinks if they like stood there and did a Yelp review really quick. Cause like you said, it really is important. But I also saw that Katie wrote in the Discord that she used to look up reviews for the bookstore they worked at and liked being able to figure out which bookseller the reviewer was hating on. And this is something that we definitely used to do at this coffee shop because we had, time to spare sometimes, as we would just read the bad reviews and be like, yeah, that tracks with so and so, or like, we were there. This was definitely this person.
Yeah.
It was a pretty fun way to pass.
Y'all, we should read our own negative reviews sometime. Like reviews that we've left businesses.
I see. I've never done that before. I thought you meant like this podcast reviews
no.
iTunes. And I was like, please don't do that because I'll cry if people are mean.
No, we can do that.
No, I mean, I feel like we do well on the reviews front, but there are some winners in there, man.
Yeah.
We have our own set of crazy bad reviews.
I'm just looking through the reviews that I've left over the years, and I've been salty, and I think you guys would make fun of me. Like, I've left a negative review.
I would love for you to do dramatic readings of your bad reviews.
My own bad Okay, we'll have to write this down. Maybe next week or the week after that. My God, I'm a bitch sometimes.
Well, at least you acknowledge that.
Yeah. Well, I just want them to improve. Okay, so
and that's probably how you sign off your bad reviews too. Sorry to be such a bitch. I just want you to improve.
It's like what I say on MuggleCast. We criticize because we care. We just want to see you be better.
Mm-hmm. I'm convinced that most of these people just do this shit for the free stuff. It's like, I'm so sorry. Here's 25% off your next visit.
Yeah.
And honestly,
I've definitely done that on Twitter before.
Same.
Like, yeah.
And most of the time, people are going to be more compelled to write a negative review than a positive one.
Yep. I try to keep that in mind when I'm looking at the podcast reviews, for example. Or, if you're looking at products and you're thinking of buying something, let's say on Amazon, and you're like, why are most of these bad reviews when you think it should be a good product otherwise? And it's because, to Laura's point, you don't leave a review when you really love something on Amazon. I've never left a review on Amazon.
Or if something's just fine. Like, you get it.
Right.
It's not, it doesn't, it doesn't fucking make you jizz yourself or anything, but
yeah,
it does what it needs to do. And you don't really care that much.
Are you talking about a vibrator?
I realized after that came out, that was how it sounded.
Yeah.
Not something I would buy off Amazon.
Oh, okay.
I share that account with my family.
That's a fair point.
Laura's dildo has been delivered. Thanks, Alexa. Should we do the ad first and then surprise bitch, or vice versa?
Let's do the ad first, because then we have the patron shout out after surprise bitch.
Cool.
Okay, well, before we move on to surprise bitch and some recommendations, we wanted to hear a quick word from Rothy's. Take a few steps into fall with comfortable, washable, and sustainable shoes, bags, and masks made for life on the go. The newest Rothy's styles include brand new bags, masks, and their first adjustable sneaker. The lace up is out of this world comfortable, and as with all their shoes, it's knit from thread made from repurposed plastic water bottles. Not only do Rothy's come in an ever-changing array of colors, prints, and styles, they own their manufacturing workshop where they prioritize sustainable products. They have also kept over 60 million single-use plastic bottles out of landfills and transformed them into their signature thread. So not only do they look like $1,000,000, they're perfect for a fashion-forward, environmentally sustainable lifestyle. Check out all the amazing shoes, bags, and masks available right now at rothys.com/MILL. That's rothys.com, rothys.com/MILL for comfort, style, and sustainability. Head to rothys.com/MILL today.
Okay. And now it's time for
Surprise, bitch!
And today we're going to call Caleb.
Hello?
Caleb, surprise bitch, it's Millennial. What's up?
Hey.
What's
Hi.
up? Oh my god. I'm like stupid excited about this.
Aw,
great.
So
Aw.
sweet.
We're excited to talk to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for calling.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you live?
I live in Seattle.
Okay.
Oh, so
Yeah,
jealous.
Do you like it there?
It's nice up here. Yeah, it just started like raining a lot now, which is what I like. I lived in California. I don't like how hot it was, so I really like it up here.
Yeah, great. Now you can start playing Taylor Swift's Folklore on loop. I think that's what that album was made for.
I mean, yeah, that
Important question. Are you vaccinated?
I am not yet this year for the flu shot, but I'm getting that next week. So I will be fully vaccinated soon.
Okay, great. This interview
Perfect.
can continue. Do you have a plan to vote?
I do. Washington is actually a state that has been doing mail-in voting for like a decade, I think. So I'm
wow.
just doing that. It's easy. Yeah.
It's
Washington has its shit together.
yeah, and no fraud, I take it.
Yeah, no fraud. Imagine that.
Is it something where the state automatically sends you an absentee ballot, or do you have to request one?
No, it as long as you're registered to vote, they just automatically send everyone
Ugh,
an absentee ballot. And I think they'll go out on Friday. So
that's
I'm
so
like
great.
kind of excited.
Yeah.
I'm
I
so
got-
envious.
That's what Nevada started this year. You don't have to request a ballot. They just send it to you. And it came in, and
Oh
I
my
think it's
God.
going flawlessly so far. Let's hope.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Me and my partner have been considering moving to Las Vegas. We've not made that plunge yet though. But it's good to know that they have easy voting there.
Why Las Vegas? Why do you want to move to Las Vegas? You heard me sing many praises about it.
I mean, honestly, we're kind of like listening to see if like it's good or not. You know,
Oh, you're
getting
waiting for
inside
my
scoop
review?
from the show. Yeah. So,
Just don't look at my reviews on Google Maps. I'm a bitch on there. But no, go on.
Nice.
Sorry.
Yeah. Oh no, we have like we both have some family there, and we both go to a lot of like clubs and raves. So there's some big ones in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
One time I went to go. One time I tried to go to a club in Vegas, and I got immediately kicked out because it was me and like 4 other guys trying to get into a straight club for some reason. We were all gay. It made no sense. So
They didn't want that.
what?
So they didn't want that in the club.
No, they didn't want a group of guys. The more women you have, the better. You know
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Well, my favorite part of Nevada is no state income taxes. So immediately, do you have that in Washington? I doubt it, right?
Yes, no, we do. We have no
Oh.
state income tax. When I moved here from California, it felt like getting just like an immediate raise. It was awesome.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm looking forward to. First paycheck coming in soon, counting down the seconds. Yeah.
Sales tax is like almost 11% here, so that kind of cuts into that, but that's fine.
Okay. Yeah. In Nevada, we just collect everybody's losses at the gambling tables. So that's how they afford it here. Yeah.
That checks out.
Yeah. Well, if you have any questions about moving to Vegas, let me know. I can't promise you I'll visit any raves for you, but I can give you some other tips.
Yeah. Is this after dark or the main show?
No, this is the main show.
Oh, okay, cool. You can still keep that rave part in. I was just
Oh,
No,
Caleb has a
I'm
secret
joking,
life.
Doing an audience check.
Yeah.
Is mom listening?
Just deciding how much I should say about that. No.
What's something you've been doing to relax during this crazy time?
I've been going camping a lot this summer, which has been really nice. Just getting out in nature, and a lot of the campsites are like technically closed, so they're not maintained, but you can still, like, it's okay to go into them as long as you pack everything in and pack everything out. So like generally there's just like no one around, just like me and my partner in the middle of nowhere camping in the woods. It's a little like creepy, but mostly really relaxing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love camping. That sounds so great.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the best parts of the Pacific Northwest for sure.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
That's great. Cool. Yeah. Anything else
I
to
also,
go ahead?
oh, I was gonna say I play a lot of Fortnite.
Okay. Have you played Fall Guys yet, though?
Oh yes, I have. My partner does not play a lot of video games, but like she really likes that game. So
Nice.
yes, we've been playing a lot of Fall Guys as well.
Cool. Awesome. Well, it was good speaking to you, Caleb. Thanks for your longtime support.
Yeah, thank you for calling. Again, I was just really excited. I'm unexpectedly nervous, so thanks for letting me stumble through this.
Yeah,
It was
no.
a lot of fun.
You didn't
You didn't
sound nervous
stumble.
at all. You
Yeah.
sounded great.
I kept poor
Thank
Caleb
you.
in anticipation for like 24 hours. I messaged him yesterday about it.
Oh,
Oh my God.
I low key, like, I got that text and I was like, was like, oh God, no, leave me alone. So I was like, no, I wanna do this.
Well, we're glad it worked out anyway. And seriously, if you ever need like Vegas tips or anything, let me know, and I'll let you know if I regret moving here or not.
Awesome. Will do.
Cool. All right. Thanks,
All right,
Caleb. Have a good
cool.
night.
Thanks, y'all. Yeah. You
Bye.
too. Bye.
He was nice.
yeah.
Maybe
it was,
my,
it was a really fun call.
New friend in
Yeah.
Vegas one day.
Mm. All right. Well, before we move on to some recommendations and the show closing, we wanted to wrap the show by mentioning that this episode is sponsored by listeners like you. And a big shout out to our latest patrons. They are Bailey, Jennifer, Victoria, Audrey, Brittany, Kate, Laura, Emma, Diana, Josh, Sean, Emily, Elizabeth, and Julia. Thank you so much for joining us. We are so thrilled to have you. It means so much to us here at Millennial to have your support because it allows us to make time for this show that we love week to week. And if you're interested in supporting the show, there's tons of great bonus content available exclusively at patreon.com/millennial. We're talking our flagship benefit After Dark, the Millennial Variety Show, our Discord, where you can chat with us and your fellow patrons, access to our live recording studio every week, and so much more. And even if you're not in a place to part with your hard-earned dollars, you can still support the show by subscribing to us for free on your favorite podcasting app and leaving a review. We know it's been a rough year, and we are so appreciative for your support, financial or otherwise.
Yeah, thank you very much. And coming up in After Dark today, we have a confessional palooza. We said to our patrons, can you send in any confessionals? And people really turned out for us. So thank you so
y'all
much
delivered.
for sharing these stories. We will read and discuss them in today's installment of After Dark, patreon.com/millennial. It is part of Mega Millennial, where you get ad-free Millennial plus After Dark on one audio file, so you can easily listen to both back to back. And by the way, you get a custom RSS feed that you can pop into many podcasting apps, so you can listen to our bonus audio content just like you do regular Millennial. It's time now for recommendations. I've previously recommended game shows. I'm a fan of Match Game, all these remakes, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, which is coming back again in like 2 weeks. I'm super excited about that. But NBC has rebooted another game show. You Are the Weakest Link. Goodbye. It's back.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, I forgot how good it is. And this time it stars Jane Lynch as the host, formerly of Glee. If you know the original Weakest Link, you know why Jane Lynch would be a perfect fit for this reboot. But it's really great. I've really been enjoying it. It's a very fast-paced game show, which I have really enjoyed because some of these games move a little bit slower. So check out The Weakest Link. It's airing Tuesdays on NBC. I think there's 2 or 3 episodes out at this point.
So Trader Joe's is every basic fall girl's dream in October because they have all of the pumpkin spice things. I really like their pumpkin spice coffee, so I wanted to recommend that this week. It's just really, really nice, and it smells really good when you're brewing it, and it's just delicious. So I love treating myself to that when it is on the shelves.
Yeah, I agree. I bought that as well. I also brought a couple of other items for show and tell today. Trader Joe's organic pumpkin bread. This shit is really good.
Oh, that sounds
Some
really
butter
good.
on it. Also, did you see these yet? Trader Joe's pumpkin spice pretzel
Oh, what?
Slims.
No,
Oh.
but I love the peppermint ones that they come out with in December, so I'm gonna have to try those.
You got to. It has crushed pumpkin spiced pumpkin seeds on it. It's so good.
Oh my
And
god!
pumpkin
Next
butter,
trip.
like
Next trip.
yeah, like you said, all kinds of pumpkin stuff.
I would like to recommend a game about ghosts for anyone who's into that kind of creepy shit like me. It's called Phasmophobia. It's only available on PC. It's very much like early stages. They're still releasing lots of patches for it, but you can download it on Steam. It's so fun. The premise is that you are ghost hunters and you have all of this equipment like voice boxes and spirit books and Ouija boards and all kinds of different stuff, black lights, and you go in and you investigate different homes, buildings, warehouses, whatever, for paranormal experiences and haunts and that kind of thing. And it's super creepy, lots of fun. You can play with 4 of your friends online. Been playing with some of our friends recently, and it's been a lot of fun. There's been a lot of screaming, but it's another good way to bond distantly. So
Cool. All right. Well, it has been a fun and action-packed episode. We hope you enjoyed it. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email millennialshow@gmail.com or use the contact form on millennialshow.com. And don't forget about our confessional there as well if you want to submit something anonymously. Also, follow us on social media. We are Millennial Show on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We're about to jump into After Dark on our Patreon. I'm Andrew.
I'm Laura.
And I'm Pamela.
Bye, everybody. God bless America. God bless the USA.
God, no.
I was thinking of playing that to troll you when you were talking about voting, going out to vote.
God. Kill me.
Rave music for Caleb.
Philippa Sue of Hamilton fame, I think it was she and her husband came out with a vote song that was really good. It's been on TikTok a lot.
Philippa,
yeah.
How do you spell that? Do you know?
PHILIPPA.
2 P's.
And then her last name is Sue, SOO.
Not seeing anything on the Spotify.
I don't know if it's on Spotify. It might be on YouTube. We can always add it in later if you want.
Oh, wait. I was spelling it SU. It's SOO.
Mm-hmm.
See if I can. Yeah, I guess we can just move on. Yeah, we can look for it later.
Yeah, we can just get it. It's really good though.
Okay, cool. All right, here we go. Can we try to keep this to half hour?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I didn't pull all the submissions we got. We have some that we can use next week or a different week.
Yeah. Okay. Here we go. This is After Dark for 638, and today we are going to discuss some confessionals that we received from our lovely patrons.
Yeah, so we were thinking, we get lots of really great confessionals from our general audience, but we've never done like a confessional exclusive on Patreon where you guys had the opportunity to have all of your most burning confessionals featured. So we wanted to make space for that in After Dark today. And y'all delivered. There is so much good stuff here. Unfortunately, we're not going to have time to get to every single submission today, but we do have everything in our back pocket and we'll get to it at a later time. So if you don't hear yours today, don't fret. We will get to it. So I'll kick it off with this first one. This one says, I am a nearly 30-year-old woman. I'm happily married to a man I've been with since I was a teenager, but I've known for at least the last 10 years that I'm bisexual. My husband is the only person who knows, but we haven't talked about it in a long time. I have no desire to change anything about my relationship, but lately I've been feeling a strong urge to come out or do something to recognize this part of myself. I wish it was less of a big deal to, quote, come out, and that we were at the point where we all didn't need to assume someone was straight just because they're in a heterosexual relationship, you know? If you have any advice for low key ways to recognize and celebrate this part of myself, I would love to hear them, but mostly just wanted to finally announce this into the anonymous void.
Well,
Well,
thank
first of
you
all-
for announcing it. Yeah.
Yeah, congratulations.
Happy National Coming Out Day, by the way, which was just a couple
That was
days ago.
yesterday, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, everybody should come out on their own time. But that's just a great way to celebrate it and celebrate people's progress. Yeah, I mean, I hope that since you two are married, you two are close. I feel like if you bring it up to him, he will be very supportive. I wonder how long they've been together. I don't think. Oh, since
High school.
yeah. And
long
they've known
time.
each other, or they've been together since they were teenagers.
Mhm.
I mean, I feel like your husband would be supportive of you. In fact, he might find it kind of hot, to be honest with you.
You
So,
always have to take it there, Andrew.
well, I'm just saying, guys like the girl on girl action. So, I think you should just do it. It's going to take a lot of courage. It's going to be difficult, but once you do it, it's going to feel so good. And then you're going to be like, why did I wait so long?
Yeah.
And I just also want to call out, remember one of our listeners, Becky, a few weeks ago. Shit. She told me that over a Facebook message, not on air.
Yeah.
She wanted to discuss it on the show at some point, but okay, never mind.
Yeah, we'll just take that out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I
anything else
think-
down here?
Yeah, no, I think it's really, first of all, I think it's really beautiful that you're having this moment of realizing, hey, like, this doesn't change who I am, but at the same time, it's a big part of who I am and it's part of my identity. And you shouldn't have to hide that, you know? So, not having found myself in this situation, I don't feel the most qualified to offer advice, but maybe if there's, a close friend that you have that you would feel comfortable opening up to about this, that might be helpful.
Yeah. And wait a second, we need to back up here because she said in her email that her husband is the only person who knows.
Yes.
Sorry, I've been reading this like she hasn't been out to her husband yet.
Oh.
My bad. I missed. That's why I was
Oh.
talking about coming out to him.
Okay.
So we can just take out what I said and I'll say something else. But Pam, do you have anything you want to add before I?
Well, like Laura, I mean, I always feel weird about giving advice when I'm not personally part of this community myself. But if you have the spare time, maybe volunteering within the community might help you feel like you're serving some kind of purpose. And I don't know, maybe just by talking to more people that are openly out, it might help you figure out what you want to do about this going forward. But I think that, anytime you are able to give back, you are in a way celebrating your identity and choosing to support other people in your position as well. So,
yeah. And you already have your biggest ally. You already have your biggest ally on your side, your husband. So if, God forbid,
Yeah, that's
somebody wasn't happy with you coming out, you still have him. And when you do come out, you're going to find that many other people are, supportive of you and are proud to hear you say that. Maybe if you're looking for like an excuse to finally get it out there, you can wait for a day like National Coming Out Day, or I don't know, your birthday, because nobody's going to shit talk you on your birthday. Maybe just find a way. If you're not comfortable with just announcing it, then find a way to casually mention it in a social media post or something like that.
I mean,
And then
I guess you could also start doing that in conversation too, and just be like,
Mhm.
oh, blah, blah, blah. And, I'm bi. So,
right.
Yeah, I've had friends do that.
yeah,
Mhm.
I have too. And it's just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's,
I mean, it should be normalized, right? It's the
Yes,
same thing as
agreed.
saying like, oh, and I'm straight. So,
Yeah. For me, when I was coming out, it was just taking it one person at a time. And the more people who know, the more people who are in your corner. So
Mhm.
maybe just try that strategy too. Start with one person and just one more person, and then just keep building from there.
Yeah, it could also be helpful to try, if you haven't already, um, immersing yourself in like queer media and literature,
Mhm.
particularly that surrounds bisexual characters. I can't say I like have a whole like list off the top of my head, but um, we have someone in the millennial community, Dr. Sarah Steelman, who is a wealth of knowledge on this topic, and she's put tons of lists out there in the past before. So I can try and see if we can find those and just like give them a little bit of a signal boost so that you can find it when you're ready.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and by the way, like our Facebook group is very supportive. So if you wanted to talk to other people who maybe are in similar positions to you, share it there. Everybody will love to see your announcement.
Cool. This next one is short, and Andrew, I thought you could read it for us.
Confessional. I can't stop ghosting my Talkspace therapist. I mean, it's fine. I don't think you should be paying for Talkspace if you're ghosting them, because, therapy can add up.
It can be hard sometimes, though. I remember one particular time when I was in talk therapy, and I went through a phase where I just kept having all of these things just come up that made it impossible for me to get to my therapy appointments. And looking back, I'm like, it was all an excuse because I just didn't want to deal with it, you know?
But the beauty of Talkspace is you can so easily leave that therapist without the awkward conversation.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been there. You go into settings and you hit change therapist.
I did it too. Yeah. I had a therapist on Talkspace that there was nothing wrong with them. It was just like our schedules never aligned. So it felt like
Mhm.
anytime I needed time, they weren't available and vice versa. They made it really easy, and you get to save a lot of face when you switch therapists that way because you don't have to like tell them that you're leaving them.
Right. I might be reading too much into this confessional, but maybe that therapist just isn't right for you. Maybe it's time to find another one, and then you won't want to ghost them. I think that means that you're not connecting with this therapist.
Yeah, therapy is like dating.
Mm-hmm.
Pam, do you want to read this next one?
Sure. This one reads, this is a really dumb one. A couple years ago, I lived in a house with 5 other people where I lived. While I lived there, my roommate kept getting emails from our internet service provider saying that someone was torrenting movies and he could face fines. He was so mad and called several house meetings about it. At first, I honestly didn't think it was me because I was using a VPN, but I soon learned that it was actually me triggering the emails when he said, whoever was torrenting watched the movie. Can you ever forgive me? This is so funny. I played dumb for the rest of the year, but it was fully me. I just needed to see all the movies before the Oscars, and none of the movies were playing near me. This is a mood. Sorry to my roommate, though.
That's really funny. Well, I'm glad you finally got that off your chest.
Yeah.
Have you guys ever gotten a message from your ISP saying, stop that?
No.
My mom got one once, and I mean, it was my brother
Ooh.
because I don't know how to download shit on the internet.
I was about to be like, Mama,
But I
geez.
was definitely like only enabling him by saying, yeah, we should watch that movie tonight. So my hands were not completely clean.
I remember once when I was in college, I had a UTI, and one of my roommates had a packet of cranberry juice. And so, anyone who's ever had a UTI knows that that's one of the at-home remedies, is to drink a shit ton of cranberry juice. And so I drank them. They were just these like little miniature bottles. And I didn't like sit and drink them in one setting, but it was like over the course of a couple of days. And that roommate called an apartment meeting because somebody drank her cranberry juice. But I was so like, one, I felt like I was being called out, but 2, I didn't want to in this apartment meeting be like, yeah, I have a UTI. Sorry. I'll go out and buy you more cranberry juice. But then I had like confided in one of my other roommates that was what happened after I had replaced it. So like it had been replaced, all's good. And then the roommate whose juice I drank brought it up again. Like she was still pissed about it. And then my other roommate is like, yeah, well, Laura replaced it. Why are you so upset? And I was like, oh my God.
Oh no. Honestly,
man.
I would understand. I'm surprised that this roommate did not understand the situation, because if you have a UTI and you don't have anybody to go to the store for you, it's really hard to get there.
Yeah.
It takes
Right.
a really long time.
Yeah, it's uncomfortable.
It's really hard because you
And then
can't control it.
Yeah, and you spend every moment feeling like you're about to pee, even if you're
Yeah,
not.
you gotta
like,
time it. It's like as soon as you're off the toilet, let me just run to the store and hope for the best.
Yeah. So I've gotten a couple messages about downloading Hollywood movies before, and it's kind of scary because it's like, whoa, they can actually track that. But I also have a really funny story, and I swear to God, this was not me. So my friend lives with his boyfriend, and about a year ago, my friend gets a letter from the ISP saying, hey, you've been downloading a bunch of movies, and these movies were printed on a physical letter. They got this in the mail. He opens up this letter and you see the list of movies. It's all porn. It's like, you know,
Oh my
and
God, how embarrassing.
it's the porn titles too. So he takes this to his boyfriend and he's like, hey, so I hear you've been downloading some porn titled things like, you know, for twink, you know, twink foursome or whatever. I can't remember the titles, but his boyfriend was so embarrassed. And like, my friend didn't have a problem with the fact that he was watching porn. It was just that he gets it printed on a letter from the ISP. So stuff like that can happen. Be careful.
Agreed.
All right. Next confessional, another short one. I'm 24 and a virgin and think that at this point, I'm never going to find anyone and will die alone. You're not. You're going to find somebody. 24 is young.
Yes, it is. I think that as a culture, we put so much pressure on the idea of losing your virginity, which is, I feel like I've made this point before, but it's so ridiculous. You're not losing anything. There's nothing to lose. You're just gaining an experience. You're having an orgasm. It's great. But like, there's nothing wrong with being 24 and being a virgin. Like, I know I have a friend who was a virgin until she was 24 and she's engaged. Like, if that is something that you want, don't think that just because you're still a virgin, you're not going to get it.
Yeah, I have friends that are our age and they're still virgins.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I was just going to say that too. People who are my age and people who are older.
Yeah, there's lots of
and
different
I know people
reasons
who
why
like
people wait.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, you know, the first time isn't that great anyway, a lot of the time. I mean, what if it's a bad experience? What if that guy's dick smells or girl's vagina smells? You know, you just never know. So
yeah,
when it happens, it'll happen.
Yeah, I was 21, so not too far off. And like, I remember at the time putting a similar pressure on myself and feeling like, I don't know, feeling like my life should have been like some high school movie where I lost my virginity at prom or some such shit.
Yeah.
Like, don't let the world tell you what you should and shouldn't do.
Yeah. No matter what age you lose your virginity at, you're always going to think it was too late because there's always somebody younger who lost their virginity.
Yeah. But you know what? At whatever time, at whatever age it happens for you, like that's the right age for you. And I hate that there is a stigma, you know, around when it's appropriate to decide that you're going to have that experience with your body. So,
yeah. Also, it's really not anybody's business. So,
Yeah.
if anybody ever is being shady with you about this, they should go fuck themselves.
Couple of good comments in the Discord. Jaegerita said, I lost it at 19 and I wish I was older. Wasn't worth it. Roshni said, hold out for that great orgasm, man.
Yes.
yeah, that's a good point.
Because a great one probably isn't going to happen. Yeah. A great one's not going to happen the first time.
Especially if you're just trying to get it over with.
Right.
It's not good.
Okay, so next one. My partner and I have been together for 4 years and I love him, but I'm beginning to realize I don't think he would be a good father. Based on conversations we've had, I know I disagree with the way his philosophies are about raising children. I'm pretty confident I want kids, but I can't help but feel like this is a silly reason to break up. I know the advice I'm going to hear is probably to talk to him, and I will, but it's just nice to get it off my chest.
Well, thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that, and another common piece of advice we give here, which is this sounds like something that could potentially be resolved in therapy as well, having a third party come in and help you guys work out your differences. But yeah, this would concern me too if I'm learning that my partner has some ways, some ideas of parenting that differ from mine, things that are dramatically different. I think I'm sure I could find middle ground over little things, but it's your child. You want to raise them a certain way so they turn out okay. So I understand why you'd be feeling this way.
Yeah, and only you know what you can live with. So don't feel like it's silly if having children is that important to you to wonder if it's a deal breaker because kids are a big deal. I don't want kids. And if Mark wanted kids, I think I feel strongly enough about that that it would be an issue. So
Mhm.
I don't think that you need to invalidate your feelings around this.
Pam, do you want to take the next, or who just read the last one?
I
think
did.
it will be me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one reads, a few weeks ago, you were talking about the best non-sexual feeling in an episode of After Dark. Well, last week I experienced the feeling of finding out I was not pregnant. And I have to say it was the best feeling. Seriously, the biggest
Yes.
feeling of relief in 2020 so far. Honestly, you won the year with that one.
Yep.
I would get so drunk that night.
Yeah, it's like, we're not into having kids right now. Well, good for you. I'm so happy it worked out this way. Honestly, it's like you haven't lived through college if you haven't run down to the 24-hour Walgreens to get the Plan B pill with a friend for yourself or for
Yeah.
them. And
Or just like been an idiot.
yeah,
I'm speaking for myself. Like there have been a
Oh.
couple of occasions where I look back and I'm like, why was I so like, why did I do that? I knew intellectually, I know how this works. And yet scares happen sometimes, but it's always a nice feeling when it
Yeah.
turns out to be over nothing.
it's like, oh man, I dodged that bullet. That's great.
Yep.
I'm so sad I'll never be able to experience this feeling of knowing that I'm not pregnant.
Why?
Because apparently it feels as good as sex.
Yeah, but it's stressful as fuck.
Yeah, beforehand.
Yeah.
That's why the release or the relief is so
Especially-
great.
Like living in fucking a red state where, I mean, like I could, if I wanted to pursue various options, but people are so shitty about it here. And there's usually a bunch of fucking counter protesters outside Planned Parenthood trying to shame you. So depending on where
Mhm.
you live, it can be really stressful to think you might be pregnant.
Or
I was-
your age if you're a teenager and you
Mhm.
live in a state where you need parental consent.
Hey, I get it. I was just making a joke.
I know.
Sorry
I
if it
know.
triggered you guys.
Andrew,
You
do you want to
don't
read
want
this
this.
next one?
Yeah.
I feel like this will
Of
amuse
course, you
you.
give me this one. Yeah. Fuck you, Laura. In the early stages of my friend dating someone who would eventually become her boyfriend, she was briefly sleeping with our really hot coworker. About a month after ending things with him, my friend found out that he gave her, and consequently her new boyfriend, chlamydia. She found out from her doctor and never told the hot guy from work that he had an STD. Despite me and all my friends telling her that he should be aware of his STD status, flash forward another month and I'm about to hook up with the hot coworker at a party. My friend didn't mind that I was sleeping with him, but for some reason, neither of us cared that he just gave her chlamydia. And not only did I sleep with him that night, but I did for a whole month, sometimes without protection. Although it happened so many years ago, sometimes I like to think about the whole affair to humble myself. But now you all know the story of how I purposely gave myself chlamydia for some dick. P.S. I did get chlamydia, obviously. Wow.
I really hope it was worth it. I can't imagine wanting to go through chlamydia for some dick, but good for you.
Yeah, because that would be a turnoff, right? Like,
Yeah.
he's not hot anymore if you know he has chlamydia right now.
The thing is, he probably males, when it comes to chlamydia, they tend to be more asymptomatic, whereas females tend to bear the brunt of the gross symptoms. So it could very well be that this guy was an asymptomatic carrier effectively, so it wouldn't necessarily ruin her experience, though.
But she still knew he
I
had
wonder if
Yeah.
she told him, because they mentioned earlier
Fuck
that
chlamydia into me.
yeah, that the other
Wait,
girl
what?
didn't want to tell him, but I wonder if she told him eventually.
I love how Jules, like, he must have been super hot.
Honestly, that was my thought process too.
I mean, to be fair, chlamydia is not, it's not a viral STD. Like, you take antibiotics and it takes it.
But what an
care of it.
inconvenience. Like, you still have to
Yeah.
go get them.
Right.
And again, just knowing that he's seeding you with this, I just would not.
He's seeding you.
I just would. Such a turnoff. No, that's gross. I wouldn't be aroused.
Yeah, you know what? We all do things, though. This sounds like it was something that happened maybe in another life for this writer.
Yeah, and final point I'll make. I know Laura wanted me to read this. I would not do this.
I wanted you to read it because I thought you would get a kick out of it.
I did. And good on you, person who wrote this in. You're a good writer too.
Shifting to something a little more difficult. This one says, I've been overweight almost all my life, and I'm currently sitting at about 300 pounds, down from a high of 365. This was after getting a lap band that slipped out of place. I don't do it constantly, but I also suffer from bulimia when I fall off the wagon and binge. I'm trying hard to lose weight, but it's hard for me to stick to the kind of restriction I need to move the scale for very long. I'm also a young widow. I lost my husband to cancer at 35 about 5 years ago. I'm too ashamed of my weight to date, and at this point, I'm afraid that I'll never get there, and I need to just embrace dying alone with a bunch of cats.
Oh.
This is hard. First of all,
Yeah.
it sounds like you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself. Like, you're kind of like going up. I don't know if I've talked about the ladder of inference before, but it's basically this theory where, like, as human beings, we have a very small pool of data that we can draw from in order to make conclusions about things. And oftentimes when we're like stressed or anxious or feeling like we're encountering a lot of difficulty, we'll like go to the worst possible outcome. And it sounds like for you, you think the worst possible outcome is that you'll never find anyone. But what data does exist to tell you that that's true? Like, you kind of have to step back from that for a second and be like, what do I know for certain means that that is going to be the only possible outcome? Because it's not.
Mm-hmm.
I've struggled with my weight my entire life too. And it's hard. It's really hard, especially when you're like pushing yourself and trying and feeling like there's not any traction, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I think the first thing I would say is be kind to yourself. You've been through a lot.
And sticking with a diet for long term is impossible. I'm
Yeah.
lucky if I can eat well for more than like 3 days.
Also, like, get rid of your scale, honestly. Because I think that just like it adds so much pressure. Like Laura, I have always struggled with my weight. Like you, I have suffered through disordered eating. So while I have no personal experience with bulimia, I can commiserate. And I think that honestly, as long as you get to a place where you can feel good about yourself, which is really hard to do, then it doesn't really matter what you weigh. Like if you feel like your clothes fit comfortably for you, or if like a tape measure is better for you, anything that's going to help you feel like you've accomplished something, if that's what you really want in your heart of hearts, then I think that you should go for that, because it's not always about the scale. Also, I mean, if you can, I would really suggest going to therapy because I think that it would just really help you collect your thoughts and hopefully learn how to be in a better headspace for yourself.
Yeah. To be honest, because I was in talk therapy for several years and there were a few things that were in there, but like negative body image issues, it was a big one for me. And I am so glad that I did it. I mean, it was a lot of hard work and we're all only humans. So it's not to say that I'm perfect now and that I don't have my bad days, but I feel like I came out of that transformed in a way and with the tools to be able to approach myself more positively. But I mean, like we said, you've been through a lot. Also, you've lost 65 pounds. I feel like that was not highlighted a whole lot here.
Yeah, that's a big accomplishment.
That's a big accomplishment. So I would just say, I think Pam's right.
Yeah.
You know, were you going to say something else?
I was just going to say very quickly too on the subject of weight loss because this is something that really fucked with my head when I was going through it. Is like nobody ever talks about the moment where you plateau. So like losing 65 pounds and then being stagnant for a while, that's normal. That's just your body's way of saying, hey, I got used to this new regimen. So now we need to switch it up in a healthy way. So just keep that in mind as well, because like Laura said that, and like a lot of people too are saying in the Discord, 65 pounds is a huge accomplishment.
Yeah. And also Katie in the Discord is saying, if you ever need a place to talk, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm near the same weight as you, anonymous, and I'm here to lend you support if you ever need it or want it.
That's great.
I love our another community. Example of why I love this community.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe one more.
Yeah, I think you'll like this one
it's
too.
It's a wild one. Should I read this one too? It's crazy, so Andrew's got to read it. I have a weird kink thing only 2 people know about, my boyfriend and 1 close friend. I like watching people pee their pants or hearing stories of such events. I don't like the diapers thing, and I'm grossed out by the idea of it being related to childhood, but someone being in a normal everyday situation, but stuck without being able to bath themselves does it for me in an instant. And story of being stuck in the car the other week is almost almost exactly the sort of thing I would read to get off, except I would like it to end with a very accidental and embarrassing pants wetting. Anyway, I think it's weird and I don't like to tell people, but this is a nice, safe way to do it. We're getting some good confessionals today.
Wow. Y'all are great.
The Patreon paywall really brings people out.
Yeah. So first of all, I just want to say, based on the limited context that we have here, this doesn't sound like it's hurting anybody. So you do you.
No, it's
like
weird
it's
and
just
funny.
harmless,
yeah,
right?
Like you're clear, like you went out of your way to be like, it's not a kid thing, and it's not like, it's not like you're running around and like forcing people to do this. It's just a fantasy thing. And as long as, that's all it is, then, or like, if you were to participate in such a thing as all members were consenting, like, I don't see the problem. You do you.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's just fantasy stuff. Everybody has fantasy stuff.
Yeah. So I have some homework after reading this. This person said that they read these types of stories to get off. So confessional writer, here's my promise to you. By this time next week, I will write out this story. I will embellish it, and it will conclude with me peeing myself. I am a prolific author. I've written Never Sever Us, one of the hottest cursed child fan fictions on the planet. I've written a lot of news stories, and now this is my next assignment. I'm going to write this out for you.
Amazing. This is also just making me laugh because I've definitely done this before, like peed my pants.
Oh yeah.
Recently.
Oh yeah.
Not recently, but like when I was living in LA. So not very
Oh my
long
God,
ago.
stop it. You're turning me on.
Yeah, I know. Just a little teaser for
Yeah.
Andrew's story, which will be much better than mine.
I've
to
also peed my
interview you
pants,
so I
Andrew,
can-
if that helps.
Right?
What,
You've
Laura?
also done this?
I've also peed my pants. If this helps, if you need firsthand accounts.
Oh, great. Yeah, I'll interview you too to make
Yeah,
sure I'm getting it
perfect.
accurate.
I was
Writing an accurate
very
story.
drunk and throwing up, and I don't know. I feel like there are some people who have probably had this experience and understand how, like, when you're throwing up really hard, it can make you pee. So
How about the stories of me pooping myself? Did those
Yeah.
get you off?
Maybe she's only
No,
into the
probably
water
not.
sports.
yeah,
Yeah.
no, I can't. But you should write
Or
a dramatic.
my bad. I didn't mean to gender this person.
Oh, you should write a reenactment of you pooping your pants, Andrew.
That I'm so embarrassed by,
I feel
though.
like that's
Maybe.
the most
You've talked about it
popular
on a
story.
podcast.
Well, it's easier to just talk it out and
I
move
feel
past
like
it. With
every few
writing, I'm-
months somebody asks you to retell that story on the show.
I know. Yeah. And if I'm writing it, I have to revise it. I have to keep looking it over. I'm going to be living in it for too long. When it was in my pants, I was living in it for long enough.
Oh my God.
Okay.
Jewel has the best thing here, and then we can wrap. One time,
Okay.
my entire cheerleading squad peed their pants on a water ride because they didn't think we'd have enough time to go to the bathroom and get back to the bus to go home.
Well, that sounded like
Ah.
a conscious choice.
Yeah, everybody collectively was like, okay, we're going to get on and pee
Yeah.
our pants
This,
now.
this person was very specific about accidental and embarrassing.
Oh.
I'm trying. There's definitely been times where I've peed my pants. I'm trying to think of specific instances though. I think it was just accidentally, and I think it was just a little squirt. Like sometimes I'll try to take my dick out, and this is so dumb. I realize it's not actually out, but I start peeing anyway.
God.
Like whoop, or it's like kind of still bent into my jeans. I'm not paying attention clearly. So I've wet my pants that way. I think that happened while I was in a relationship with Pat, and I told him, and I was like, "We need to go home because I now smell like pee."
Yeah, I've definitely had the experience of, like, for whatever reason, having like an accidental, like, little squirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it happens. It happens.
Yeah, it happens.
All right. Well, this
Well-
has been very eventful. I have some
I didn't
homework.
know this is where we were going to go with this. That we were
just
all going to
concluded
share our
when
peeing our
we've all
pants
peed our
stories.
pants.
This is what's beautiful about the show. You never know what's going to happen. Thanks everybody for listening and for your support, and we'll see you next week. Goodbye.
Bye. I love you guys.
Bye.
Perfect.
Oh my God, this happens to my husband, especially when he's drunk, Andrew. I feel like Katie's agreed with me with other things in the past too. Like, oh, this has happened to my husband as well, Andrew. Don't
That's
worry.
so funny.
Maybe you're the same person.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. All right. Good show, y'all.
Yeah.
And
Agreed.
I hope to be finished before 10 a.m. Pacific tomorrow because I want to nerd out and watch Apple. That's what gets me off, watching Apple announce their new iPhone.
Mhm.
Yeah, I forgot that that's happening tomorrow.
I also forgot that was happening.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be anything exciting because everything leaks these days. There's no secrets anymore.
Yeah.
That's
It's kind of a
fair.
bummer.
Yeah.
All right. Have a good night, y'all.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Paige.